Hi everyone, it's Sarah and welcome to my crochet channel. Now today's video I'm going to show you how to crochet my African flower motif. It measures about 8 inches across and it is a 6-sided 6-point motif. It's a nice size for a coaster or a hot pad, and you can add more rows to make it bigger if you want to make a hot pad or pot holder. This motif can be made to be used to make scarves, purses, blankets, table runners, whatever you want. You just fit them together and they turn out beautiful. And you can make them in all different colors, and it's a great pattern for using up all those yarn scraps. Now you can find this free crochet pattern on my blog, and I'll put that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. To make one or more of these African flower motifs, you're going to need some medium weight number 4 yarn. Now if you're going to be making hot pads or pot holders, I suggest that you grab your yarn stash and pull out some cotton yarns or a cotton blend, because remember, acrylic can get hot and melt. I'm going to be using some different colors that I have in my yarn stash. I've got a variegated stripe here, blue, white, a bright green, and there is some variegated in that one also, and some yellow. And I'm just going to mix and match and have some fun and see how it looks with these different colors. We're going to be stitching today with our H hook, which is a 5.0 millimeter crochet hook. You'll need a needle to weave in those ends, and because we're changing colors often, you will have some ends to weave in. And of course, you'll need your scissors. We're going to start with our slip knot. There we go. We're going to chain 5. We're going to join this chain 5 into a circle, so we'll put the tail of the yarn over our hook and pull it through that loop and snug everything down. And then we'll tie that stay knot so our loop doesn't come undone. We're going to go in our chain 5, pull up a loop, and chain 3. This chain 3 counts as our first double crochet, and we're going to stitch 11 more, so we have 12 double crochets in this chain 5 loop. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2 loops, yarn over, and go through those second 2 loops. So that's 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, and 12. And let's check to make sure we counted right. Here's our chain 3, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're going to join to the top of our chain 3 with a slip stitch. And we're not going to chain 3. I'm just going to put a little chain 1 in there to hold it. And then I'm going to turn this over, and you'll notice that when I stitched my first row, I stitched over that tail of yarn, so I can just gently pull on it. And we'll go ahead and close this up. We have a lot of ends to weave in anyway on this project, so might as well get one done. All right, we'll go ahead and cut it. And for row 1, we have 12 double crochets. Now we're not going to chain 3 because we're going to change colors. I'm going to change colors, so I'm going to go ahead and cut my first color yarn, I'm going to grab my next color and bring that in. And now I'm going to go between the first two double crochets. I'm going to pull up a loop. There we go. Snug that down and chain 3. And this chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. We're going to go in that space between the first two stitches and stitch a double crochet, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. And again, we're going between the double crochets, not in the tops of the stitches. Now we're going to skip the next 2, and we're going to stitch in between those next 2 double crochets. Double crochet, double crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochets in that same space. Okay, so we're not stitching in the tops of the stitches like we usually do. We're going in between every 2 double crochets. We have 12 double crochets, and we're going to have 6 sets of our 2 double crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochets around. All right, so we'll skip the next 2 stitches. We'll go in the space between and stitch 2 double crochets. There's 1, 2, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. And we'll repeat this going all the way around, and we'll have those 6 clusters. One, 2, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. So there's 5, and we have 1 more set to do. So we'll skip those next 2 double crochets and go right in between those next 2. So 1, 2, chain 2, 2 double crochets, and I can see my yarn is changing colors to a little bit darker purple there. And then we're going to join to that chain 3. Then we'll slip stitch in that next double crochet and slip stitch in that chain 2 space, and we'll go ahead and chain 3. And this is how row 2 should look. 6 clusters of 2 double crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochet in every other double crochet from row 1. For row 3, our chain 3 here counts as 1 double crochet, and we're going to place 6 more double crochets in this chain 2 space. And chain 2. Our chain 3 counted as 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have a 7 cluster, total of 7 double crochets, chain 2. And so what we're going to do in each of these chain 2 spaces around is we're going to place 7 double crochets with chain 2s in between. So we'll go in and stitch 7 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and chain 2. And I want to always go back in and make sure I only stitched 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Chain 2. Then we'll go to the next chain 2 space and repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and chain 2. All right, and so what we're doing is repeating our 7 double crochet cluster. We'll place 7 double crochets in these last 3 chain 2 spaces with chain 2s in between. I have placed 7 double crochets with chain 2s in between in each of my chain 2 spaces, so you have 6 clusters of 7 double crochets, chain 2. We're going to join to the top of that chain 3 with a slip stitch. And normally I would change colors here, but my yarn is changing colors on its own, so I'm going to go ahead and just go with it, just for fun. For row 4, we're going to place a single crochet in each of those 7 stitches and then a half double crochet in our chain 2 space. So we'll go right in our first stitch and stitch a single crochet. Go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through both loops. I placed 1 single crochet in those 7 double crochets. Now I'm going to place a half double crochet in the chain 2 space. So yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3 of those loops. This brings us to our next cluster of double crochets. So I'll place 1 single in each one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now I'll place a half double crochet in this chain 2 space. And I'm really liking how the colors are working on this motif. Alright, so 1 single crochet in each of those 7 double crochets. There we go, and half double crochet in the chain 2 space. And so, though this is how the repeat is going to work for row 4. 1 single crochet in each of those 7 double crochets, half double crochet in the chain 2 space, and repeat all the way around, and we'll join back to our chain 3. I stitched 1 single crochet in each of those 7 double crochets and half double crochets in each of the chain 2 spaces. Here's my last half double crochet. I'm going to join to my first single crochet with a slip stitch, and I'm going to change colors. I'm going to bring in this green back in. It's kind of a lime green and it is variegated. There we go. I'm going to chain 3, and then I'm going to double crochet in these next 4 stitches, and this brings us to the center of our 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so in this 4th double crochet, we're going to stitch a double crochet, chain 2, and a double crochet. Then we'll double crochet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And that brings us to the center of our next group of 7. Here's our first 3, here's our last 3, and we want to put our double crochet, chain 2, double crochet in that stitch. And this is how the repeat will work. 1 double crochet in the next 7 single crochets, I should say the next 7 stitches because this stitch in between is a half double crochet. So you're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next 7 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then in the next stitch, we're going to stitch a double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet. 1 double crochet in the next 7 stitches. 1, 2, whoops, there we go, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 1 double crochet, chain 2, and 1 double crochet in that next stitch. And you can see the shape forming. And we'll continue to repeat this. 1 double crochet in the next 7 stitches. Then in that 8th stitch or the next stitch, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, and repeat. And then we'll join back to our chain 3. When you get back around where we started with 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's your last corner, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, and then you'll have 1, 2, 3 double crochets, then you'll join, and we're not going to chain 3 because we're going to change colors again. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this. I'm going to bring in my blue. Snug that down and chain 3. And so what we're going to do is basically we're going to repeat what we've been doing. The only difference is we're going to have more stitches in between. So we'll place 1 double crochet in each of these double crochets. Till we reach that first corner, and then we'll place 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. Alright, so now we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 instead of 7 because we're gaining 2 at every corner. Alright, so we'll stitch 1 double crochet in the next 9 double crochets. Here's my corner, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now I'm to my next corner and I'm going to stitch a double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet. And then we'll repeat, stitching 1 double crochet in each of those 9 double crochets till we reach the next corner. There we go. We stitched 1 double crochet in each of those 9. Brings us to our next corner. Double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet in that next corner. And so what we'll do is we'll just continue this around. And of course we'll have less double crochets on this end because we're in the center. And I like that because I'm going to show you how to add a loop when we're done. Alright, so we're going to continue stitching 1 double crochet in the 9 double crochets, and then double crochet, chain 2, double crochet in the chain 2 spaces of each of the corners. I completed this row. I joined to the top, and I'm going to tie off. But like I said, this makes a nice pot holder as well. And if you want to add a little loop, you can. After you've joined, before you tie off, just chain 12. Join to that same stitch with a slip stitch. Then we'll cut our yarn. We'll go in the next stitch and pull that loop to the back so it looks nice and tidy, and tie off. And yes, we have a lot of weaving in to do because we changed colors a lot. And now you can hang this up if you want to. And I think these would make a nice bright bunting also with the loops. Alright, so let's turn it over. And we have a lot of weaving in to do. What I do is I go ahead and I tie a little stay knot where I joined my colors. Alright, and then I just weave in each one, trying to stay within the color that I used, because I don't want any of this bright yellow to show through on that bright pink or purple. And I like to go 3 ways. Go one way, back the other, and then back the other way. And I think that'll hold it nicely. Alright, and I'm going to do that on all of those ends. And now I have another motif. And I can use this one for a hot pad because I put a loop on it.